Welcome back to Spirit Sherpa. I'm your guide, Kelle Sparta, transformational shaman, spiritual coach. And today we are doing a reading, but we're going to do a special kind of reading today. So unlike the SEER readings that I've been doing in the past, Vicky, who is our person who's being read today, our querent is the word, is coming onto the call with a specific question. And so we're going to take that question and we're going to follow it wherever it takes us. Vicky, welcome to the call. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it over to you and let you lay out the situation and tell us what you're looking for. And then I'll tap in and start to give you some stuff around that.
Yeah, so I just want to know how I can bring the truth out in regards to my family, because basically my grandfather and my dad committed suicide because of bipolar, and I have bipolar from my dad, and yet the rest of my family is in denial, and they blame it on me, and they demonize me for it, and they're trying to disown me. So my mom has been threatening to give everything to my brother ever since I was a kid. And so that she's been lying about me, isolating me. But she actually told me that when my dad committed suicide, she had all the money of the family and he had nothing. And yet he was still forced to pay for my brother's mortgage a few days before he died, and he was complaining about it. And so I think the truth has to come out. I need to fight for justice for myself and my dad. And I don't know how I'm going to bring the truth out and how I'm going to move forward with my life. So I would
Okay.
love to get an answer for that.
Yeah, I can feel how powerful that is for you. So I'm going to take a look. So we're going to talk from a lot of different angles today. Okay, so we're going to look at a lot of different things at a lot of different angles. And so I'm going to be talking about the energetics associated with the situation. We'll look at the ancestral line to see if there's anything there that needs to be dealt with. We're going to look at past lives or sacred contracts or karma. We're going to look at a lot of stuff to see what shows up. And so some of it you're probably not going to hear me look at, because I'll go to look at it and my guides will be like, no, not there. And I'll be like, okay, and we'll just keep going. But I am going to look in a lot of different areas. And then I'm also going to talk to you from a very practical perspective, doing some basic, some not basic, but coaching, some complex coaching actually, to walk you through it. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me in the moment. Okay. And do I have permission to enter your energy field for the purposes of this reading?
Yes.
Okay, great. Give me 1 second. I'm going to be right there. Okay, so I'm looking around you. This is my first thing that I'm doing, is I'm looking at the energy around you. And I feel like your family, that makes sense. I was expecting to see your family coming at you, but you said that they've tried to disown you. And so, yeah, that makes sense, because I'm feeling like they're not around you. So at least they're not actively engaged energetically in like pushing at you. Okay. So that's progress. That's positive, because they could be, and that would be even more problematic. But okay, so let me look at the family dynamic, because I'm not seeing them in your energy, banging at your energy. So let me look at the family dynamic. You said it was your father and your grandfather.
Grandfather. Yeah.
Grandfather. Oh, your brother was the one he was supposed to pay the mortgage for. My bad. It's interesting though, because I feel like your brother's on your side, which is really interesting. Your grandfather has passed over. How recent was your father's suicide?
How many years ago?
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, because he hasn't crossed yet. He's still here.
Right.
He hasn't crossed the veil, so he's still on this side of the veil, gone into the light, sort of thing. Yeah, because he's really trying to protect you. And what was interesting, what showed up as I was looking at the family dynamic, is that your father's very angry, and he's trying to protect you. And I saw your brother in that same light, that he was very angry and trying to protect you. Have you talked to your brother?
So my mom has brought my siblings up to abuse me. And even right after my dad's suicide, I went back to Hong Kong and he kicked me out of his house. I just thought it was just with my mom. And so the abuse hasn't stopped, it has intensified.
So your brother has kicked you out of the house.
Yeah, when I was just
Interesting.
at his place
How long ago was this?
5 years ago.
How recently have you talked to him?
We know I talked to them through my lawyers.
Okay. Okay. So
At
maybe the anger I'm seeing in him is at you instead of for
at
you,
me,
but
at
yeah,
me.
okay. All right. Because he's angry too. So what I was saying was lots of anger. Okay. So
My mum lies a lot about me, and so my siblings are always very angry at me. Their face would distort when they talk to me.
yeah.
It's a
So
narcissistic thing.
yeah. But it's very interesting dynamic because oftentimes when you have a narcissistic parent, the kids all know that it's a narcissistic parent and they often will bond together over that. The fact that she's made you the black sheep of the family means that there's a way to, it's a way for them to bond with her without having to take the brunt of it.
Yeah,
It's,
and they also benefit financially from it.
yeah. So it's a, yeah. So
It's a
that
win-win.
it's a win-win for them, not so
Mm,
much for you.
mm.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How So I've had this conversation with somebody who's in a similar situation before, where it's like the money is being used to manipulate you, right? I'm not familiar with Hong Kong legal system, but first question you have to ask yourself, and I'm going to look at more of the energetics, but I'm going to drop into coaching for a minute, okay? The first question you have to ask yourself is whatever amount of money it is it worth the pain that you're going through right now?
It's more like justice.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. When you go into a need for justice, you are investing in your victimhood. Okay. Because you're coming at it from a state of righteous anger, which is, I am in my victim and I must bring justice to blah, blah, blah. Right. And that is a dominant energy for you until you get to the end of that. And it will run your life. And because you're operating from a victim space, you will manifest more victim experiences. So you need to be very careful being like, I must find justice because
Yeah.
justice is a disempowered state, right? The seeking for justice.
Mm.
And so the I would highly recommend what is your what is your ideal outcome? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get them to stop beating on you? Are you trying to get them to own up to what they did? And if so, why? What is your end result for you that you're trying to accomplish?
Okay, so my dad had promised me to help me, to support
Mhm.
me, and they got jealous, and so so my basically I just want to be treated as an equal.
Okay.
And my uncle has promised me to fight for my fair share. I just feel like the truth has to come out because my mom has been lying about me all my life to
Okay.
everyone else.
So I need you to know something. Narcissists are never going to let the truth come out because it makes them look bad.
They're just going to keep lying.
They're just going to keep lying. It is not going to change. This is who she is. This is who she's always been. This is who she will continue to be. So relying on her changing is that is a recipe for misery. Okay. You need to be really clear that is not going to happen. Okay. That I don't care what we do energetically, a narcissist is never going to say I was wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
It's just,
and I think I'm
yeah.
dealing with five narcissists there.
So this is why I'm asking you, how much misery is the money worth? That's why I'm
It's not
asking.
it.
Right. Once you cross over, I think the reason why your father hasn't crossed is because he's attached to your upset. His upset is connected to your upset because you're holding him in that upset, right? And the thing for you here is that you need to decide what's worth it to you. right? Because you can spend all this energy and all this time and all this emotional stuff trying to get an outcome that is maybe 10% likely to happen. Okay. But only in the money. You're never going to get an apology. You're never going to get an I was wrong. You're never going to get a yeah, I lied about you. That's never going to happen. These are narcissists we're dealing with. That does not happen. I want to be honest. And you're like, okay, the best you could hope for is to get the money. And that's it. Right. And to then be able to separate yourself from the family because you're going to continue to be the black sheep. You cannot control other people's actions. Okay. That's rule number one. You can't control what other people say or do. The only thing you can control is how you behave and how you perceive and experience the world. And so you can choose to engage in the struggle and stay stuck in this and negative emotion, or you can let your uncle do what your uncle's going to do and step away. Let them say what they're going to say, let them do what they're going to do, let it go. And honestly, that is energetically, when I look at it, that is the best possible energy pattern, because when you're not engaging the battle and trying to force them into doing something that they really are not going to do, then the struggle, the energy of the struggle is no longer there. So if you pull away, let them believe what they want to believe. Let them do what they're going to do. Let them say what they're going to say. Let your uncle try and get the money for you and let it go.
How do I even ask for that help?
I
Like,
thought you said he would do it.
yeah, and then he denies it, of course, because he's another narcissist.
Oh, then let it go. Legally, you could go for an attorney and get the attorney to fight for this, right? And if you do that, then let the attorney do their job and step away. Right?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing
Yeah.
the last few years, and
Okay.
it's dragged on, but
Yeah. And they're going to drag it on because they don't want to do it. Okay. And so, again, we have to ask, is the money you're paying the attorney going to ultimately be worth it if you win the money that you're due? Right. And if you don't win, will you be unhappy that you spent the money on the attorney? Right. So these are the questions, because you have to, who these people are. Right. You know who they are. You know who they've always been. They are not going to suddenly become somebody different. Okay. So when you know that's true, then all you have left is to choose who you want to be and the dominant energy that you want to live in. So I'm going to take a look at the ancestral line and see what comes up there, because this is coming down through the family line. But I feel like I need to look at your mother's line, not at your father's line, because your father's line, we know the bipolar ends up in victimization, ends up in suicide, there's a pattern, right?
the other side is narcissistic abuse.
All right. Let me just take a look here and see what's there. Okay. So what I'm seeing is a pattern in the mother line that is the child trying to parent the parent. So it's reversing the roles, right? And then that is causing a imbalance in the family line. And the pathway to fixing that, there's a ritual in family constellation work where you put a picture of your mother above you physically. So either you sit on the floor and put her up on a table or whatever, right? But the picture is above you, right? And you say, you are the parent, I am the child. You are above me. And there is it's not it's okay to beat me up, right? It's you gave me life, right? And from a place of you gave me my life, I am grateful and I honor you. And so that pattern is the only part that you can do, because right now you're battling with mom, and therefore you're trying to one up her, and that puts you out of balance in that dynamic, right? So if you can come back to the, you are the parent, I am the child, you gave me life, I honor the life giver, right? That will have an impact on the family line. I don't think it's going to clear it all the way, because your mom's not going to do the same thing. Okay. And it has to be handed back up the family line. You can try doing it and handing it around her, but I don't, it takes a really long time going back to find an unentangled ancestor, somebody who's not involved in this pattern. That's the way you clear it, is to hand it to an unentangled ancestor. I feel like doing the ritual for you would be helpful with your mom. I don't know that you're going to necessarily see the outcome, but it would reduce the vitriol. It would reduce the hardcore stuff. Let me see what happens if you hand it to an unentangled, because I've got you like 14 generations back before there's an unentangled ancestor here. Let me see what happens if you do that. Okay. Yeah, that's worth doing. So do the ritual with your mom, the picture of your mom. Don't try and do it with her personally. That would be disastrous. Let's not do that. But with a picture of your mom. And then when you are done with her, then just take that same energy and hand it back to an unentangled ancestor, not somebody you know, but somebody who's not involved in the pattern. They will make themselves evident to you in your mind's eye. Okay. And just hand it to her, because it's going to be a her. This is all your female lines. And to recognize and acknowledge that you risk your life to bring me into the world, and I honor that. And so that will be helpful. Let me look at your dad's line. I keep getting this sort of all over the place energy off of this line. It feels almost ADHD, right? It's like it's a this, no that, no that, no that. No, 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 no.
Yes, well,
Okay. So yeah, I'm getting that energy of it. It's not that they're not trying, it's that they can't land and their brains are working against them. And it's there, it feels like there is a dominant story in that lineage that is good for nothing. Not in the US we would say a loser, but in that's not the right energy in your culture. It's the energy is more that one's a bird that can't land. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, mental illness is rampant.
Yeah. So it just feels like it's an acknowledgement of the dominant energy, but making the person ineffective. That's really what it
Yeah.
comes down to, is that it's making the person ineffective. And that there's just, it's not a label so much as it is here. It's a, yeah, that's just who they are. It's different. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no, it's not a positive connotation, but it's not a, that person sucks because of this. It's just a, yeah, that's who they are, and they just can't land. It's a bird that
Yeah.
can't land.
It's a lack of diagnosis. Yeah.
Yeah, they flit from place to place. They don't ever land and make a nest. They never make it
Yeah.
home. And sometimes that's a metaphor, and sometimes that's actually in the fact that they don't stay in the same place. So it's been manifested.
That's me.
Say that again. Yeah. So
That's me. Yeah.
yeah, I keep seeing sometimes it's a
I
physical
never.
movement and sometimes it's a metaphorical movement. I can't make a decision about what path to take, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of that in your background. Let me see if that comes from anything. Let me just check that, because sometimes we may find some weird stuff in there. Let me see what's going on there. What is that about? Oh, that's interesting. This is a familial curse. One of your ancestors burned down someone's house. I don't know if they meant to do it or not. It's not really relevant, but that person cursed them to never find peace, to never find home
Mm.
as a result. So let me see what I can do about unwinding that, because that's been there a long time. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. Okay, so they're agreeing to take it off. We're just now trying to figure out how to bring that into form because it's been around for a long time. So give me a second. So I don't quite have full permission from you to take that curse off yet, because we keep unwinding it and it's running into fear around, does that mean I don't get to travel anymore? That energy is happening. It's no, you get to choose rather than having to, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you're okay with that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Ooh, okay. There we go. That's a shift. Okay. Did you feel that?
I was just really hoping to have a home.
Yeah. Yeah. That curse is lifted, so you should be able to find a home now.
I do feel lighter.
Yeah. Okay, let me see what else is going on here. Hold on. No, I don't feel any karmic stuff. You had a contract to come into this life with the family you have, so that contract has been fulfilled, and so this dynamic was part of that, but it feels like there's nothing else to that. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? Energetically, being attached to this money is tying you to your pain, for one. And for two, is it's keeping you disempowered from making better money in your own life.
Yeah. Do you know
Right?
what happened? So
Yeah.
I had a bipolar breakdown 25 years ago.
Okay.
And my mum was supposed to come over to Sydney to help me, but instead she was saying to me, "You're going to miss out on all the money if you don't get on with the siblings." And then I told her that it was due to the abuse that I was experiencing that caused the breakdown. And then instead of helping or anything, she just went back to Hong Kong and she's been planning on making me homeless with my siblings for 25 years publicly, discussing
Okay.
and stuff. It's just awful. I don't know how to stop this. This is just so awful.
So is the money just sitting in a trust, or are you getting paid every month?
No, it's not that. It's like she has helped my siblings to get two houses each. But then when it comes to me, she's, "Oh, I'm too old to help you now. You can have this house when I die." And then, of course, after my dad's death, I never said that. Go
Right.
and get your own house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in a woe is me, I'm not getting what other people are getting space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. She only has power over you if you give it to her. So stop asking for the money, right? It's her money, right?
She
Was it?
stole it from my dad. Now it is
Okay.
now.
But it's
But
hers now. Okay.
yeah,
So it's her money now, right? So go buy yourself a house and spite her. Wouldn't that be the best revenge ever, is to buy your own house
that
and
would be
be like,
great.
see, I didn't need you.
That would be great.
Yeah. And you feel the difference in your energy field, right? Because
Mhm.
when you engage in the battle, you are going to be stuck in that battle. That battle is just going to hold on to you as long as you want to hold on to it. And you're going to stay financially in the same space you're in right now, because all of your energy is tied up in waiting for that help to come. in getting what you are owed. And it's okay, but you could battle with that, or you could just go get what you want and take all that energy and just put it somewhere else. You see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no guarantee that you're ever going to see anything out of this stone.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just went another direction and followed your path and made the decision that you're going to buy a house, that's the key. You got to make the decision. I'm buying a house. I'm doing it without her. I'm going to do it to spite her. Ha! Use that negative energy to fuel your positive response, because that will fuel your response. So I'm going to show you, I don't need your help. Look at this. And then, that ultimately you want to pull away from that too. But right now where you are, it's a good stepping stone, right? Use the spite, right? We do it in stages,
I mean,
right?
it is so awful that, that a family is capable of that. And
And
especially
yet
for my dad's suicide.
it is, but you can either be upset about it or you can have a life. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Happy.
Yeah. And that requires letting go of being.
And that's what my dad has always wanted. He just wanted me to be happy. He said, I'd rather have a happy daughter than a rich and miserable one.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's all he ever wanted me to
Yeah.
achieve, happiness.
Yeah. And what goes around comes around. Eventually, the karma will come back to bite them. Eventually, their angriness and their divisiveness and their,
Greed, the greed.
they're
Not
miserable.
buy them happiness.
I was
Yeah.
going to say they're miserable. Let them be miserable and go be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're looking for you're looking for justice for your dad. But what I'm trying to say is that there's already justice because they're already reaping what they sow, which is misery.
Yeah. In a sense, I feel as if my dad has been murdered by them. And they're trying to do the same thing to me.
Just opt out. They can't do it to you if you don't participate. You've already left their physical location. Leave their energetic one.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God I managed to escape.
Yeah. Yeah. So just go no contact. Be done.
I've done that.
Yeah. Which of course upsets her more because she can't control you. So the longer you go no contact, the more upset she gets. That's great justice.
Yeah. I let my lawyers deal with the rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
So I'm just saying, just step away. Step
mm.
away. It is not serving you to be in this space. And there's no joy to be had in the pursuing of it. There was I don't remember who, I think it was David Nagel. My friend Kathy went to one of his workshops once. He's a big trainer in the world, and some guy had just embezzled, I don't remember, it was some large amount of money, like $60,000 or $100,000 or something. And the guys that had worked for him and embezzled the money, and they were like, "Are you going to pursue him? Are you going to take him to court for it?" He's like, "Nah, I'll just make more." Because
Yeah.
if he took him to court, then he'd have to be in court, and then he'd have to show up, and then he'd have to put all this energy into it and provide all the documentation. And it's just X amount of dollars. I'll just make more.
Yeah. Somehow I just want to have a last word. I just want the truth to come out,
But that
and
need,
then it's gone.
yeah, but no, but that is putting your happiness dependent upon them.
But I feel it's such a burden. I just really want to vomit it out, and then it's
Okay.
done.
All right. So I'm gonna say this. Close your eyes right now. Okay. And I want you to picture your father in front of you because you've taken this on out of love for him. Okay. This isn't about you. This is about him. And you've taken this on out of love for him, and that is inappropriate. You are the child, he is the parent. So I want you to see him in front of you. And I want you to take all of this need for justice for him and pull it in your hands. Just hold your hands and just pull all of it into your hands. Okay. And I want you to look at him with all of that energy in your hands and you say, I took this on out of love. Say that now.
I took this on out of love.
but it's not mine to hold.
It's not my fault.
So I'm going to give it back to you.
Give back to you.
Release it into his hands. And he's taking it, right? Yeah.
It's funny because I did a family constellation, and
Hmm.
it just with my it's a straight line with my dad and my grandfather, and they were facing the other way around as well, just like my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sort
So,
of like role reversal again.
but now that he's crossed over, he has a broader vision and he's also not a narcissist. So that helps. And he can turn around and pass it up the line too if he took it on too. But you do not have to hold that because it's not yours. It empowers him and it empowers you to hand it back.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to make sure everything's out of there. Close your eyes, take a look again, make sure it's all gone. Because I feel like there's still a little bit in there. Like there's I have to be a good daughter energy that's tied up in there. Yeah. He's on the other side. The money doesn't matter. Okay. He doesn't need the money. It's irrelevant to him.
Yeah. Those people are just like vultures.
Yes. And that's the energy that they live in. And that's the energy that they cultivate. And that's the energy that's going to eat them. It is already eating them.
Yeah, I feel as if they're like poisonous snakes that are so poisonous that they're actually poisoning themselves.
Yes. Yes.
That snake pit over there.
Yeah. So the best option you have when in a poisonous snake pit is to get out.
I did.
Okay. You can't look at the snakes and say, I need you to be better people. That's not logical. Right? I need you to stop being venomous. That's not logical. They are who they are. It is in their nature. Right. So the only thing you can do is remove yourself from the situation and go live your life. Right. For this, we cleared the family curse so that you could find home. And we've given back the burden of the need to find justice to your father. And we've put yourself back in the right position with your mother so that at least from your part of the line forward, it's clear, right?
It's funny that she recently gave me a little picture frame of herself when she was young. I'm gonna put it right above the sofa.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go. This is for you, it's about choosing happiness
yeah.
over choosing battle. Okay. And so the thing I'm going to warn you about is that you have been embroiled in this battle for a very long time. You have been in love with this battle in its own way. There's a love affair. It's very seductive. It's I'm going to fight. There's something very seductive when you're in your righteousness. The thing I'm going to warn you about is that battle is a well-worn neuronal pathway for you. And so what that means is that even if you choose to step away from it, you're going to be pulled back in to the same mindset, thought patterns, structures, neuronal pathways over and over again. You're going to have to be disciplined to break those patterns. You're going to have to the minute anything happens, you're like, nope, I'm choosing to be happy and not worrying about being right. That's what I'm doing. But nope, choosing to be happy, not choosing to be right. I am leaving them to their misery. They may have it, and it may do them. I am over here. I am going to choose to be happy, and I'm going to ignore these people over here because they make me crazy. Yeah. My friend Kathy has a great saying. She says, don't poke the crazy person because they will never be,
Yeah.
don't poke the crazy person. Okay. They will never act sanely. There's no point in poking them because they will always behave in a crazy fashion. Okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
will always be painful. Okay.
it's a collective madness as well.
Yes. And it is. I don't think that it's actually collective madness. I think that they're buying in because it's easy for them to buy in. We've already said they have a double reason to buy in. They get the money and they don't get to be in the target. They don't have to be the target because you're the target. You are the designated target for the family.
Yeah.
Therefore, they don't have to be the target. So it's in their best interest every time she starts to come at them to redirect to you. And they're like, no, it wasn't me. It was Vicky. And then it
Yeah.
could be all about being upset at you because you are the designated target. Take the Bodhisattva path. Are you familiar with the Bodhisattvas?
Not really.
So the Bodhisattva is I choose to incarnate on the planet until everyone has met their dharma, has completed
The
their journey.
last one to reincarnate. Yeah.
Yes, they're the I'm here to help everyone else along and I live out of love. So
Yeah.
choose the Bodhisattva path and say, I will be the target so that you may have the life you choose. And I will also have the life I choose. I
Yeah.
love
Just
everyone. I just love some people from further away than others.
yeah.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I wanted to just clear my name because
But you're not going to be able to.
there's so many lies.
But they know they're lies.
Yeah.
Okay. You know that these are lies. They know that these are lies. Everybody's just collectively agreeing to the lies. So there's no need to really clear your name because everybody knows it's crap. You can't grow up in that family and not know that your mother makes shit up. You can't. Every sibling you have knows that's true because they've had something made up about them at some point in time along the line.
It's me though.
It is you, but they've had it. I promise you, before she picked you to be the scapegoat, I promise you, every one of them has had this experience at some point. Okay, it takes time to figure out who's going to be the right scapegoat for the family. It takes some time, and until that happens, everybody gets a little bit of the pain. I promise you, they know she makes shit up. Okay. There's no name to clear. They're just like, yeah, mom, whatever. I'll be upset with you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to play the part because it's easier than going against you. That it. And then once they buy in long enough, then they'll just start to believe it because they believe it themselves. But it doesn't matter, is my point. Deep down, they know she makes shit up. They know. You can't grow up in a family with a narcissist and not know. I know because I've done that. You just if you gaslight one person, you gaslight everybody. That's
Yeah.
just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So there's no way they don't know. That is just the nature of the dynamics of these type of relationships. So your biggest challenge is going to be not falling back into this mindset. Because you're like, but I have to clear my name. Why? Why do you have to clear your name? Clear your name with who?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, those flying monkeys, like my uncle, has been weaponized.
Okay. Step away
And
from him too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone basically. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to clear your name. These are the people who are causing the problem with your name. You're not
Mm.
going to clear your name with them. They're the ones using you as a scapegoat. There's a value to that for them. You're not
Yeah.
going to fix that.
Mm.
And what do you care? If you're never talking to them again, what do you care? What does it matter? Can you give them the gift of having a scapegoat that doesn't fight it? That could be your parting gift to your family. That is
Mhm.
how, because right now, part of what you're doing is you're avoiding being shunned. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to avoid being shunned.
Yeah, because I've been excluded from like family dues for like a decade.
So
It's
you're
like a
already shunned. You just haven't
yeah,
accepted it.
exactly. I just
Right.
want to reassert my existence. So
Yeah,
it's
that,
you
but
can't do
why?
that.
But why? You don't want to. So in
Because I
the
have no right to do that. Because
Okay.
it's
So the
unfair.
Human Awareness Institute has this wonderful thing that they do that's called clearing. It's like, how do you clear a relationship? But the rule is you don't clear with someone that you don't want to be closer to. Okay. You do not want to be closer to them.
No, that is very poisonous.
So there is zero point in trying to clear with them because you do not want to be close to them. Trying to clear with someone that you don't want to be close to is you trying to prove that you're right and they're wrong. It is a manipulation. And even if it is in response to their manipulation, it doesn't matter. It's still a manipulation and it's not coming from a clean place. So let me say this. Every shaman goes through a shunning. You asked me about your healing gifts. Every shaman goes through a shunning. The shunning is there to teach you that you are able to stand in your own power and speak the truth, even if it costs you everyone you know and love, because that is the only way you are ever able to be of service to the tribe, as if you are speaking what is true. And you are denying your shunning right now.
So take it as a gift.
Take it as a gift.
Have you been shunned?
I have. Yeah. High school for me. It was, I had somebody come up to me after school was over and say, you would not believe the pressure there was to never even speak to you or acknowledge your existence. And I was like, yeah, I would believe it. I lived with it every day.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. 2.5 years. So, yeah, every shaman has a shunning.
Does it make me a shaman?
No, I wasn't a shaman in high school either. But it is a step in the journey.
Yeah. So I've been told that I'm a healer.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah. Now, this is the thing that's holding you back most from your path, is because it's anchoring you in this angst and upset energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accept your shunning.
Embrace it.
Embrace it. And then just go live your life. The best revenge of people who don't want you to do well in life is to do well.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
Mhm.
okay, you've done family constellation work, so you understand that the whole desire of the family line is that you do well, right? That life goes on. That's the framing, right? And I'm not a family constellation facilitator, but my friend Kathy is, and we've done a lot of work together over the years. So I've picked up some stuff around the edges. But there's some energy in here about my dad didn't do well. I can't do well. There's that in there. It's a staying loyal to the rules of belonging sort of energy. And I would rather you tap into the desire for life to go on well for you as your way of tapping into the rules of belonging, because you know this, he wants you to be happy. He wants you to do well. And so I want you to be really clear that when he said, I don't want you to be rich and miserable, he did not mean I don't want you to be rich. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be really clear that those are not your only options, rich and miserable or happy. Though you don't have to be poor to be happy. You can be rich and be happy, but not if you're going to try and fight your mom for the money. You will not be rich and happy that way. Okay. But you could be rich and happy in a completely different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says success is happiness.
Yes.
Happiness is success.
Yeah. And success is defined by you. If you define success as happiness, I would encourage success being financial independence and happiness. But I like what I call fuck you money. I got enough to be able to do whatever I want, no matter what somebody says, right? That's, to me, that's the ultimate success in life, is I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't need permission, and nobody else can tell me what for. And that is how I make myself happy, right? Is by having the freedom to do whatever I want, because freedom's my top value. So you have to know your top value to define your own success.
Because my dad has been setting me free all this time, and then yeah, so it's a huge loss.
Yeah. And part of that is grieving, right? And there may be some more grief that you have to let go of because you've been holding on to him by way of picking up this battle for him. And you may need to actually do your grieving. I will, when we finish up here, I'm going to send you a copy of my sound healing for clearing grief, and that'll help to get you on that path. The more you listen, the more it helps. So don't make it a one and done. It's cumulative. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just feeling into your dad's energy right now because he's cleared up some. He's not angry anymore. That's really good. That means you must be letting go of this because he's not angry anymore. Yeah. So what he's telling me is that he's going to stick around to make sure you're okay. And once he feels like you're okay and you're not like stuck in this battle, he's going to go ahead and cross over at that point. So he's going to be with you for a little bit longer so that you can find your footing with this new mindset. Okay. And as you release, as you listen to the sound healing, you're going to have some tears. And I want you to release the anger with those tears because that anger is stored in your body right now. Okay. And you need to let that go because it's amping up your energy. It's making your adrenaline rush. It's doing terrible things to your adrenal glands. It's not good. And then once you've done that enough, and you'll know when enough is, you'll be like, oh, you'll feel emptied out, right? Then I want you to do a vagus nerve reset, and you can Google that to find out what that is. Okay. Because that's going to help to bring your body back to its normal resting state. Right. But you don't want to do that until after you've done the release of the anger and the upset. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you do it before that, it'll make it harder for you to find it. Right. The anger and the upset. So it'll still be there, but it won't be as active. So you want to do that work first and then do the vagus nerve reset and then do that often, right? Every time your brain goes back to, you go, nope, choosing happy, vagus nerve reset. Okay. Yeah. And if you're having a hard time letting it go, get up and physically walk through a door because
Okay.
our bodies are neurolinguistically anchored to change our state when we walk through a doorway.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. I think about it when I'm skiing. And I really shouldn't be thinking about it, but
No,
it's stuck in my head.
because
Yeah.
you've been attached to winning. You have to let
Yeah,
go of winning.
and I just don't know how to get it out. I really want to get out of my system, but I don't know how.
We have done a huge amount of stuff on it today. Okay. Getting rid of the curse helps. Handing it back over to your dad helps. If you find yourself pulling it back, hand it back to him again. You know how to do that now. Knock off the minute the story starts to run. Nope, we're not doing that. I'm choosing happy. I'm not choosing that. And then vagus nerve reset, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So you've just got to break the habit of being upset. And so the downside, though, is that you're ADHD. And the upset is a dopamine rush. So you're going to have to find another pathway to dopamine, or else you're going to be fighting against this. Not that I usually encourage people to do dopamine things just for the dopamine, but play some online video games that have lots of bright, shiny things while you're doing this. And then you can wean yourself off of those. But while you're doing it, give yourself, be like, nope, we're not doing that. Look, fun game with bright, shiny colors.
Action, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dopamine hit, right? Because the bright, shiny colors and the flashes of light and all of it, it activates your dopamine system in your body. And so if
Yeah.
you know that's the case, that's a healthier form of a dopamine addiction for you than this. So once we break the habit of that, then you can start to break the habit of the game. But the game is a nice intermediary that gives you the dopamine without the adrenaline.
Change topics.
Yeah, one step at a time. Do things to spite your mom until you don't feel like you need to spite your mom anymore. But as long as it's making you happy, not things to hurt her, but things to make your life better and say, see, I didn't need you. See ya.
Yeah, apparently it really upsets them when I'm happy.
Yes, that's my point. That's the perfect justice. You're
My
happy and they're
uncle
miserable.
says,
Fabulous.
oh, you don't need any help. Your food looks very good on Facebook. You don't need any help. We don't need to help you to get a house
Block
because
them on
your
Facebook.
food looks, yeah, I did. I did.
It doesn't matter. They just, yeah, just block them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Don't let them see. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Mm.
But your happiness is the best revenge.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I learned that when I was a kid. Yeah. I learned how to smile.
Yeah, but there's, yeah, actual happiness, not pretend happiness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
I'm just making sure we knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling?
Better.
Yeah. Okay. So, right now, I want you to stop looking backwards because you can't get anywhere in life when you're looking backwards. You will trip. You're walking backwards without looking, right? You need to turn around and look forward. What has passed is past. In accounting, they called that a sunk cost. I spent X amount of money and it was so much money and I didn't get a result yet, so I should dump more money into it. No, that is not the answer. If it has not worked up until now, it is not gonna work. You need to stop spending money on it. Money and energy, same thing, right? If you invested all this energy and it has not worked, it's not gonna work. It is a sunk cost. Let it go. You can't get it back, but you can avoid putting more into the pot. Right? So you got to stop looking backwards and start looking forward. Decide what you want. We're going to do that right now. You want a house. Where do you want your house?
London.
London. Okay. So how much do you need to buy a house in London? Do you know?
£500,000.
Okay, that's cash. But what do you need for down payment? Because I assume you can get a loan.
I'm not sure.
Okay. That would be something to look into.
What I really want is to have a retreat.
You want to
I
have a
want to help people to detox.
Okay.
And
What you actually want is for you to detox. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You're not allowed to open a retreat until you detox because you may decide that once you detox, you don't need to do the retreat. Okay. We try to do for others what we want for ourselves.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
doing the emotion code course right now
Yep.
to remove that emotion blockages and stuff. It's really interesting what I have removed from my family. It's crazy. Like the list of emotions was
Yep.
spot on.
Yeah. What you want is to detox. So why don't
Yeah.
you detox and then you can decide what you want? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you may decide you want something different. Okay. So what do you want what would you love right now?
Right now, I'm at a ski resort. I just want to have a great time skiing for these
Okay.
couple of months.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're spending a couple months at a ski resort. You're going to detox.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
not going to talk to your attorney. You're not going to talk to your family. You're going to just sit and enjoy your vacation and you're going to have a good time and you're not even going to think about them. They don't get any energy from you for the next 2 months
Yeah.
and
It's
hopefully
interesting.
forever.
I was skiing, as soon as I thought of my mom, I fell.
Right. That's exactly right. It pulls your feet out from under you. Stop it.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. So don't even go there. You were there and you're there for the next 2 months. What I want you to do during this 2 months is I want you to practice not thinking about them, not engaging, doing everything we've talked about. And I want you to sit with, don't try to come to a conclusion. Okay. This is, I call it sitting in the soup, percolating. So I want you to give yourself the question of what would I love? If I had the life that I would love, what would it look like? And just daydream about it for the next 2 months and see what shows up for you. I'm going to bet you not only will you have an idea of what you want at the end of 2 months, I'm going to bet that you're already going to have an avenue towards it because the universe supports you when you make a decision. A decision means to cut off everything else, right? All other options. To decide means to cut off all other options. And so when you make a decision to be happy, the universe is going to line up behind that, especially if you reinforce it by not allowing yourself to go into pathways that are unhappy for you, not engaging those neuronal pathways. So I am going to bet good money that in 2 months, you're going to have a pathway that shows itself to you while you're there.
I need to clear my mind first and just choose happiness.
Yes. So choosing happiness on a daily basis is all about gratitude. Oh, look at how beautiful the snow is. Oh, look at how delicious this hot cocoa is. Oh, I love being inside and toasty warm on a cold day. Oh, look at how beautiful this space is. Wow. Oh, I'm coming down this mountain. This is so fun. Just every thought is that, right?
Yes. I was wondering, what's my mom doing? She's got
nobody cares. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter. She's being miserable. That's what mom does. She's being miserable and making others miserable. You know what she's doing. That's just, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just the circumstances change. That is the foundation. You're fine.
Replace it with gratitude. Yes.
Replace it with gratitude.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And the other thing I'm going to say is find a place to belong. Because the other reason this is being so hard on you is that this is the place where you belong, or you feel like you're supposed to belong. Okay. Families of origin are not great places to belong in a lot of instances. Okay. So find a family of choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Families of choice is where you belong. So if you have friends who are a family of choice, during this 2 months, connecting with them would be a good time.
Yeah.
It'd be a good time to connect with them and remind yourself that you are not alone in the world.
Yeah. I have a couple of disco families.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is your assignment. Should you choose to accept it, this message will self-destruct in 5 minutes. 30 seconds. I don't know. I don't remember how long it was on Mission Impossible, but they always did the impossible mission. That's yours. You can manage it too. Okay. You just want to be disciplined about what you think about.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find that everything, I'm so glad that you are on vacation right now. This is the absolute perfect time to be doing this because you are not going to be stressed out by other things. Yeah. And so you're not going to have the initial stressor mutate into this stressor. You're there, you're chilling and cooling. You're already there. You don't even have to worry about traveling. You're already there. Fantastic. Perfect timing.
Don't take that into my head.
No.
It doesn't belong. Yeah.
So this is perfect timing because you're supposed to be chilling and cooling and having a happy life right now. That is the purpose of this trip. So be committed to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Commitment is the key. The universe will line up behind you so fast the moment you commit. Okay?
Yeah.
So commit and reinforce your choice over and over again, and you will come out the other side so much happier. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please do me a favor. In a couple of months, when you finish your vacation, send me an email and let me know how you did. Okay? Yeah. Because I know that everybody on the podcast is going to be like, how'd she do? Where is she? How's she going? What's going on? So I'd love to be able to. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Okay? It's a choice.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Don't push it and you'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So do you have any questions? Okay. How you doing? How was the reading for you?
It's good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. I know it's going to be a shift.
I
I
feel
know it's
lighter.
good. I know it's going to be a shift and it's going to take a little discipline, but I'm absolutely positive that you're going to feel so much better in a couple of months.
Yeah. And please send me that sound healing thing.
Yes, I will absolutely send you the sound healing for clearing grief. So thank you for the reminder because you know my brain. We talked about that before the call. Okay. Anything else you need before we wrap up?
So yeah, I'm interested in becoming a shaman.
Okay. We can talk about that when we finish the call. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else before we finish the podcast? Okay. All right. Thanks for hanging in with us, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And please, if you put a testimonial over on Spirit Guides, could you please copy and paste it over here to Spirit Sherpa? That would be amazeballs. I would appreciate it since we've moved back to this platform. And if you haven't written us a testimonial, this would be a great time to do that. And remember that what you focus on expands, what you intend is what you create. So choose wisely.